Hello, Steve Cully, best podcast host in the universe, at least most of the time. I just came on to say a few words about what happened a few days ago. We lost someone special, CJ Hessel, and I don't really have the words to say, but I'm going to do this because it's the most I can offer. I feel terrible for his family and friends. And it's just an unspeakable tragedy. I reconnected with CJ when I actually was in the hospital. I had when I had my amputation. CJ, who hadn't talked to me in probably 20 plus years, found out and reached out. When I was in the hospital, I just remember being shocked. That was a really difficult time for me. I had sepsis. I had amputation. And just the fact that, he immediately called, got my number, and, talked me through it. That's just the type of person he was. So larger than life personality. Always put a smile on your face. Always was there to have fun. Make life less serious. I remember meeting him my freshman year at UConn when we played football together. And he had the unfortunate task of playing next to me for a while. And he was one of the many whose feet got mangled from me stepping on them so many times. That first training camp, he was just like, "You got two left feet? What the hell's wrong with you?" Like, a lot. And that's how it started. And man, we spent so much time together. It was, he cared about us, the guys that came in, Ed, myself, Lawrence, Oliver, and there were veterans on the team. And that was, I believe, his first year starting, 1999. And he was a basketball player who transferred in. He originally started as a tight end, and he got moved to lineman. Man, he was big as hell, but he always wanted to. He always was great about making sure we had a good time, whether it was in meetings. He would make you laugh on the field. He would make you laugh, but there was nobody more loyal, nobody that had your back more than CJ. Always had your back. And he bust on you. He bust on you good. But he only did it to the people that he cared about and only the guys that he loved. And just being able to, it was a tough transition for myself, Ed especially, I think, to playing college football. I came from a small town, a small school. I know Ed did too. And, we really didn't know what we were getting into at UConn. And all those guys did their best to take us under their wing. Mike, Burton, Jamie, Harper, Corey Durfus, Steve Darby, CJ, Sasson. They really did a great job with us. I don't know that I would have lasted without that group. They did, they looked after us on and off the field, and they made sure that, they were tough on us, but they also spent time with us, tried to get to know us, and showed that they cared for us, and it was a brotherhood at UConn. And then when those guys left, poor CJ was stuck with us, and in the summertime, he would basically hang out with us by default because we were the only ones around and playing cards together. We played blackjack. He'd beat the hell out of us all the time. And, he always made sure that we would go out. Sneakers was our bar. We had so much fun there. And it would just be funny because, we were in the dorms, and he would call. It was before cell phones. He'd call our rooms. He'd come get us. Ed and I take us out. And it would always be an adventure. Always be an adventure. And he was just a great player. I think that nobody expected it because he was a natural athlete, just a tremendous athlete. And when he came in, they didn't know what to do with him. And then when he played on the line, he really shined, really took over. And he ended up being a 3-year starter and played everywhere, which is very, very challenging as an offensive lineman. I know I sure as fuck couldn't do it, but he played guard, he played tackle, both sides. I always liked playing next to him. He would tell me what to do, and I wouldn't do it. And he'd be like, "What the fuck? You just knock the guy over and go. Like, what's your problem?" He would get frustrated with me, but he was so smart and really he was just charismatic. Whenever you'd go anywhere, and he was the life of the party. I mean, people just loved him. People loved being around him. And then, God, I remember when he introduced us to UConn fans, Heavy D and his wife. And they would have us all over for fajitas. Heavy D would make the greatest fajitas. Just, it was someone CJ met at Sneakers and developed a bond with. And it resonated not only with us, but with other athletes as well, because everyone would want to be a part of it. The times that we got to go over there, and he would cook for us, and it would just be a feast. The festivities, it was just amazing. And I remember my junior year, I think it was his senior year, I had been struggling and I wasn't playing. I remember when I lost my job as a starter, I went back to my dorm room and was smoking cigarettes, as I used to always do. And he came up. He came up to check on me, to talk to me, and was completely being sincere, and just said to, you're better than this, and just, they got it wrong. They'll see it. Just keep working. Don't give up. And that's what a captain is supposed to do. And he really did. And it made a difference. And I remember in a few weeks, I ended up being the starter again. But just the fact that, a lot of guys, they worry about themselves. They're not going to go out of their way for everyone. They're close friends, they will, but not everyone. And he did that for me, and I always remembered it. But I just remember most, those years were tough. We were transitioning to FBS, and we took our lumps. The picture behind me is from Virginia Tech. He's in that picture. And he always made sure that we didn't take things too seriously. Football's a game, and it was our lives, but he made sure to show us it's okay to laugh, it's okay to have fun, even when things are bad. And so many great times. Ed's 21st birthday, his face got super glued to the carpet, and I believe he had a Sharpie drawn on him. That was fun. We never had a bad time. And he would, he just was like, Ed and I were, he kind of was stuck with us because all the older guys had left. So it's like, God, I got to hang out with these two, or I don't have anyone to hang out with. So it would just be funny. You could hear in the dorm our phones ringing. If I didn't answer, he'd call Ed. If I didn't answer, he'd call me. He'd keep calling. Say, be downstairs 20 minutes. Like, what? Where are we going? Just be downstairs 20 minutes. And he'd pick us up. And then when we went into the apartments, I think I was the only one who didn't have a cell phone. But you would hear, it was Woody, Big O, Lawrence, and Ed and I in one apartment. You would hear the phones ring. We all had separate landlines. My phone would ring. If I didn't answer, Ed's phone would ring. Big O's phone would ring, then the cell phone would ring. You would literally hear them go off one by one in a row if none of us answered. And it would just keep going until one of us did. He's like, what the fuck what are you guys doing? We were just laying down being lazy. And he's like, 20 minutes, let's go. And it was never a bad time. He just had a presence about him. Anytime he walked into a room, people just gravitated towards him. People gravitated towards him. And he would go out of his way for you. He, despite Ed's turmoil, he went out of his way to make sure he had a great 21st birthday party. It's legendary to this day. He really stood for, I think, strength and loyalty. And, he'd rip on you, he'd bust on you, but if anyone else did, he'd be the first one to come to your defense. He'd be the first one to back you up. You would never have to question that. Never. And so many of my experiences at UConn, the good ones, were with him. We're with him. And, we lost touch after, and he did great with his career. I mean, he built a beautiful, wonderful life for himself. And when we reconnected, I was in the hospital, man. And for him to call me after 20 plus years like that, just to, talk me through it. And I remember the conversation just because I was in a bad place. I had sepsis. I just had an amputation, and he gave me the same kind of talk that he did when he came to my dorm room after I wasn't starting, and he just said, dude, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're better than this. Get through this. One day at a time. Get through it. And when there's people out there who believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself, that is something that's truly amazing. Thank you, Christy. You're phenomenal. Yeah. I know. This is different, Christy. God, you always find me. But having a chance to go to a game, it was 2 years ago, and sit with Mike and his family, and CJ and his wife and his daughters. I got to meet them, and it was just like nothing had changed. It was so great to see how happy he was, to see how successful he was, to see the life that he had built. Just the sweetest, kindest wife. I mean, both Mike and CJ. Nikki was just incredible. He just had the uh, most beautiful and energetic and fun daughters who were making signs at the UConn game, and we were holding them up, and we thought they were good luck, and I was the only one not holding them up because I am a college football coach and I don't believe in any of that shit. I was the only one not holding them up, and it was UConn Temple, and Temple was driving. I'm like, fuck, they're gonna blow it. And it was 4th and goal at the end of the game, and everyone's holding the signs up except me. And we stopped them and returned the fumble. They fumbled. We returned it 99 yards for a touchdown. I was like, well, that's what I get. It's about right. That's par for the course. But it was so good to reconnect with them and keep in touch with them, and get to see him at games. I remember at Syracuse, he came with Mike, and I got to see him. I took a picture with him. My father got to see him, and my father always loved CJ. My mother too. They just appreciated really what he did for me and the young guys. And Dad was just marveling at how great he looked. He's like, God, he's so big. He still looks great. It looks like you could step on the field today. Like you look like shit. Like, thanks. But he was so happy to see him and talk with him. It was great being able to spend time with your guy again, and it's underestimated the difference that he made for us, at least for me. It was a struggle. It was a struggle playing at UConn. The work and the time and the effort we had to put in. I would have left. I probably would have left freshman, sophomore, junior year if it wasn't for that group of seniors, and then it transitioned to Steve Darby and CJ, and then just CJ, who was stuck with us. But they, to have someone who really was like your big brother, always made sure that you were entertained, always made sure that you were having a good time, always made sure that people were laughing, because it was rough. I don't know that I would have lasted without him. And then in the summers when nobody was there, it was just us. And he would always be hanging out with us. He would always be joking around at the workouts because they were brutal. And he just had he was so smart. He just had such a wit about him. He was just witty. He had a dry sense of humor. Loved listening to Motley Crue, blasting in the locker room. I remember. And it was never a dull moment. And I think we all have our lives. We all are doing a million things. People have families. And it's just unfortunate because you don't tell people all the time how grateful you are to have them in your lives. and to show appreciation to your friends, to those who are your ride or die, to those who would do anything for you at a drop of a hat. And I'm guilty of that myself, being selfish. And I've put my friends through hell and back. I've lost friendships because of my behaviors. But the people who are there for you, the people who are really, really there and care, just let them know how much you care about them. Let them know how you feel, because you never know what can happen. Expect the unexpected. And, he always hated my pregame meal. Before every game, I would eat pasta with Tabasco sauce. And we would sit as a position group, and the offensive line table, he'd be like, Jesus, shit smells awful. The hot sauce, what is wrong with you? Get that away from me. Because, we'd have a noon game. We had pregame at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm eating pasta with Tabasco sauce. It's like, what is wrong with you? He's like, go. He couldn't stand the smell of it. And just my heart hurts, and it's something, we are getting older, and it's tough to accept that, we are going to lose people. We're not in our 20s anymore. And that's why, it's important to tell the people in your life that they matter. Tell the people in your life that you love them. Tell the people in your life that they make a difference. Despite everything that's going on, everyone's busy. I know that. Everyone has jobs. Everyone has responsibilities. But just taking a moment, sending a text, just saying, just thinking about you, hope you're doing well. Because you never know when that chance or opportunity won't be there again. And that's what is so powerful. CJ always would be on the lighter side of things. He knew, not to stress out, not to take things too seriously. He always tried to have fun with everything he was doing. And I was just thrilled that he had built just a wonderful, wonderful life with a loving, devoted wife, Nikki, and he had a family, and he had a career, and the strides that he made and the success that he had. I was so happy for that. Because not all of us get to that point. A lot of of us are far away from that point. I know I'm about 1,000 miles away from that point. So I was happy to see it for him, and just seeing, you see guys, people with their kids. I mean, that is how I can really evaluate and see the person you are. When I see how you are with your kids, and to see how much he cared, how much he loved his daughters, to see that side of him, I never expected. But he wasn't embarrassed by it. He was proud to show his love and devotion to his daughters, and I thought that was so special. And being able to have that time was special. But to go on this week and just do shows without saying anything, I wasn't going to be able to do that. I just wanted to come on and share my feelings and talk about him, pay tribute to him, um, to honor him, because he was a brother, man. He was a brother to us, all of us. I mean, during that time when we played, we went through hell together. Every one of us, we went through hell together, and it changed us. It changed us. It was hard. It was the hardest thing we ever did. But this is just tragic, and just a guy who had such charisma, such personality, someone who was smart, someone who could walk into a room and talk to anyone about anything. Someone whose loyalty trumped all. Loyal to the end, loyal to you, will do anything for you. You don't get people like that. You don't get people like that. Everyone's worried about themselves most of the time. He wasn't. He'd give you the shirt off his back. But again, I just wanted to say, I credit him for why I was able to last through the roughest times, the roughest years, because he was there. He would never have let us quit. He knew when you needed help or support, and he put his arm around you and talked to you, and he knew when to have fun, and he knew when to make you laugh. And that was the best part. He could really read you and read the room, and he knew whether how you were doing. But because of having him with us, having him really just spend time with us all ways in college, that made a difference. I mean, to make a difference in someone's life, many people's life. I'm just one. There aren't a lot of people who do that, who can actually transcend and make a difference and impact in someone's life in such a positive way, where the course of your life could have been changed completely without them. So I'm grateful and thankful and appreciative for what he did I am grateful, thankful, and appreciative. The man had a million things going on and took the time to get my number, call me when he heard what happened to me when I was in the hospital, when we hadn't talked for 20 plus years. And that shows right there. That shows. Like, it's like, yo, I'm still here. It's like, I'm still here. And you're going to get through this. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. And I needed to hear that because I was. And then getting to spend time with him at games, it was so wonderful. But I just wanted to say this because I have to go back to doing shows tomorrow, and I wanted to talk about this now. I just couldn't go back and start doing regular shows without addressing the tremendous loss everyone is suffering now. And just to try to honor him as best I could because he deserves it. His family deserves it. And they broke the mold when they made CJ. They broke the mold. I'm sure he's up there with Heavy D right now, having some fajitas. So I like to think that. But it was gut-wrenching, tragic loss for all of us. And just, if you talk to your friends and any little thing, if you notice something's off, man, just talk to them, ask how they're doing, dig a little deeper. It's hard sometimes, but you got to keep an eye out. And any little thing. You may think it's nothing, but it could be something, and just ask. And then just let them know you care. Let them know they're loved. Let them know that you're there for them. And be that sounding board because people need it. Some people are too proud, and I'm one of them. I'm the same way. But you can know when you know your friends, you notice if something's different about them. Don't just look the other way. Don't look the other way. Just try to offer support, try to help, try to show. Let them know. There's a lot of us, people don't, people think that they're not liked. People think that they're not loved. And just hearing that from someone is important. And as corny as it sounds, like, hey, I appreciate you as a friend. I'm lucky to have you in my life. And I love you. I just wanted to let you know that. And that can just put things in perspective a little bit more. And we don't do it enough. And like I said, I'm guilty of it too. I take people for granted at times where I should be thanking them and telling them, like, listen, I put you through so much, and want you to know that I love you. I care about you. Thank you for never leaving my side. Thank you for putting up with me and believing in me. And CJ was one of those people. And my condolences to his wife and kids, and to his family. And God bless Mike Burton. I love you. Mike Burton has been a captain for all of us, on and off the field. Mike Burton, another person. He had a million things going on, and he took the time to call and check on me. And I just try to put myself in the other person's shoes. I mean, everything that he's dealing with, and he is trying to support and help the family and be there for them and be strong for them. And he is taking time to call me and check on me and make sure I'm okay. And he didn't have to do that. And I know there's a lot more important people than me, but he did that. And that just showed me again, first class, all the way first class. So this one was hard. I'll never be able to do it CJ justice, but I just had to say these things. And it's a moment. It still doesn't feel real. He was an incredible, talented player who grew into a successful person who built a career, built a wonderful, amazing life. And I was so happy to see that. I was so happy to see his family. Never thought that he would be the type to be a family man, but he was. And just being a great father. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I couldn't have been prouder. I couldn't have been happier. So just love you, brother. Miss you, brother. Never forget you.